We've got a treat. We had cats in the background. Oh wait, there's one. We have a cat in the background. So let's just make sure everything's all on and working. It looks like it is. So say hello wherever you are. You know, this is the drill every time we start this whole thing. I did put it on my personal page, but okay, so I'm definitely live on my page. Yay. Well, that's a step in the right direction. Let's see if that YouTube on my personal page is working yet. It is not, but I think I will go share it. What the heck? Why not? As we gather steam and friends wherever we are. So say hello as I start to share this page. Let's see if I can do that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And we'll share that to public. I don't know what this means. I never know. That I'm trying to keep up on this technology, and I'm just gonna hope that it's live on YouTube. Yes, Janet's there. Thank you. I look and sound good. That's awesome. Hi, Marianne. Thank you for making it. Welcome. We still have the same rules as we did last week because as you can hear, I'm still a little bit nasally. I do have COVID. I actually came down with it like last week. I was a little bit nasally and I knew that I'd been exposed. So, but it became official on Saturday and I took another test today and it's still like positive for COVID. So you'll have to deal with me drinking my tea and everything today, but welcome everybody. So we've got, wait, Marianne, where are you from? I forget. I'm sorry. I know we've got LA in the house and let's see who else shows up for today. Oh my God, there's so many lights here. I feel like it's super hot, but it's dark in here. So, so we got Pennsylvania in the house. We've got New Zealand in the house. Hi, Angela. Welcome. Good to see you. Richard's in the house. Yeah, it was like a mild case, but I mean, it was inevitable. I was with my mom, in a car, and she got it. Mom is in the house, so that's awesome. I know she's feeling better. She was telling me this morning I still sounded nasally, and I'm making her take another test because I took a test. Thank you so much. It's it's been pretty mild over, and actually, so I know I sound nasally, but I can actually breathe out of my nose, which is very strange. I've never quite had that happen before, so I don't know. I don't know the whys and wherefores of all these little things. All I know is that I'm fever free for 4 days and I feel pretty good. And now I'm just annoyed that I can't kind of go out. So, but anyway, well, thank you all for being here and joining me. I put together a kind of an interesting, Mom, you're getting a hello from New Zealand. Yay. And everybody can wish my mom speedy recovery too, because she's not quite out of the woods yet, but so those are all of that's appreciated. I'll try to put it up as I as I go through this. But yeah, so this is what I've been wanting to do for a while. And then at the end, I have an amazing announcement about a guest that we're going to have in a few weeks. So stick around for all of it. Ask your questions as we go. In fact, including, so even though I have it in here, I'm not a medical expert in any way, shape, or form. But if you have any questions about COVID, you can certainly ask me, and I will tell you about my experience. I'm not going to tell you what drugs you should or shouldn't take. I'm not going to tell you what's good or bad. I can tell you tea, and I can tell you what the doctor told me, which was to, because I didn't qualify for one of the drugs that they give people, and because apparently I'm too healthy. And she told me, do what your mom and grandma would do. And I laughed and I said, oh, you mean Tylenol and chicken soup? And she laughed and said, yes. So here we are. It's always a joy to be here. So, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Hello, hello. Happy everything. Welcome to TGIF for the Curious and Enlightened end of the week wrap up. Wherever you are, maybe you're starting your week, maybe you're already in the weekend and watching from there. But how's everybody else doing? Is everybody status quo? How's the COVID count in your neck of the woods? Apparently it's very rampant here in Chicago. People are telling me that that they're hearing a lot of people. So if I have a little foggy brain, then just you got to bear with me. This will be fun though. I promise. I put together some interesting things for shortly. Challenge versus change and the art of non-effort. And that includes non-resistance to things like COVID and things like that. And basically, I've been rolling with it. I've binge watched some great TV shows and um, mostly been relaxing, but that's why you don't see too many posts from me over on Facebook and things like that. I'm just trying to kind of lay low. So if you are watching on Facebook, feel free to jump on over to YouTube for the best viewing and commenting, but you're certainly welcome to stay where you are. I put the links in the YouTube that you're watching right in the event. So if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to jump over or not. Feel free to just comment from where you are because it actually is working this week. So I'm Debbie Taitel from Spirit Light Insight, and I am a clairvoyant, a psychic. One could call me a medium as well. I teach meditation. I teach you the tools to connect with your own natural psychic abilities, which every single one of us has. The only difference between you and me is the amount of practice that I've had doing readings and being able to focus. But even in our meditations at the end of this live, I'm teaching you tools that I use every day so that I can focus and I can practice. And just as another reminder, so I said the rules from last week are still in place. So I promise you, if I have to cough or blow my nose, I will turn my head away and I will mute the mic so that you don't have to hear that, because it's really kind of obnoxious. So how's everybody doing? How's the dream world been? How's the energy been for you in your world? Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting, Angela. Most people just live with COVID. You don't have to isolate. You still can, but the government lets you decide whether you isolate or not. You all are so civilized. In New Zealand. That's amazing. Well, I think, the governments don't want to shut it down. In fact, we haven't even heard much about it here in Chicago, and it's apparently a thing. So, nobody wants to tell anybody what to do. My thing is, I did look up the CDC guidelines because I don't want to be responsible for giving this to someone else, especially someone who might be immunocompromised or things like that. I have friends with lupus and other uh, diseases, so they say. And I don't want to give this to anybody because it's going to hit someone else a lot harder than it did me. you know so, but that's interesting that in New Zealand they don't really dictate to you, and they're not really dictating here either. But we've got other stranger boy, talk about stranger things on our plates here. But um Richard, sleep issues and a few nightmares. I've tried video recording. Ooh, I give you a lot of credit for that, Richard. That would creep me out in big ways. By the way, nightmares, I have heard, and I have noticed that actually nightmares are generally other people's energy in your space. Have you tried meditating before you go to sleep, or just kind of owning your space? I'd be interested to hear, because that's something that seems like it's ongoing, and you're a giver, and so, and an empath, and so you're very sensitive to energy. So I'd be curious to know if you meditate before you go to bed, because that might be an interesting answer, is just to ground your space and really own it. Yeah. Oh, this is so weird. I'll have to look into this New Zealand thing, because Angela's piping up and she's saying you don't have to wear masks, and again, all restrictions are gone. Yeah. Hmm. That's interesting. So yeah, Richard, if just keep, actually, we're going to talk about, it's really interesting that you brought that up, that you try, and that this is a reminder. And so that's actually one of the things we're going to be talking about, is how we get into the swing of doing these things more often, especially at a conscious level. Because when we own our space, not in terms of pushing things out, because it's really not about pushing things out, it's about bringing ourselves in. And what I find for me is, when I'm grounded and I'm in my space and I do a little meditation right before I go to sleep, it's actually easier for me to get out and go kind of on the astral plane and go into dreamland. Or I do a lot of dream walking. I like to visit places and things like that. And I have 100% recall on a lot of it, or at least 90% recall. So yeah, keep doing that, and keep coming here, and we're going to get you all set. So for the weekly wrap up, I'm not going to lie, this is going to be maybe a little bit shorter than most, because, or maybe not, you know how I get. Uh, but mostly due to COVID, I was quiet. I turned my attention within, and I wasn't resisting what was going on with my body. In fact, I was noticing what was going on with my body. And it was quite interesting, because I didn't feel like I was, let's say, fighting something or whatever. I had a high fever, and I took naps when I needed to take naps, and I just kind of rolled with it. Um, I did have a strange, some people lose their taste buds. I didn't lose my taste buds. My taste buds got super, super sensitive. So there were things I couldn't eat, because it tasted like, if there was even like one bit of pepper in something, it tasted like there was a bottle of pepper. It was really interesting how sensitive. But one of the things that I noticed this week, and it's interesting that Angela was saying, and I'm sorry. So this is actually a kitty hair. So that wasn't blowing my nose. That was actually cat hair. Sorry. Um, Angela, I will get to your question in a second. Wow. It was one of the things that I noticed this week was, there's a lot of energy around, like, having COVID. Like, people have a lot of judgments about it, and a lot of, uh, I mean, everything from conspiracy theories to almost like being stigmatized. And it's not like I'm going out and, we're online, so it's not like you can get it through the computer. But my gosh, the level of, if I heard I'm sorry one more time, you people are lovely. I know you all that people don't know what to say, and so I'm sorry is the go-to. But we are never victims of whatever dis-ease is out there or within our bodies. It's something that we are going through, and it's all, as I taught in one of my classes this week, the body is never the cause, it is the effect of the energy. And so we can actually look at the energy and give ourselves space to do that. So I was kind of fascinated with how people reacted and who reacted a particular kind of a way. Some people said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then that was it. Other people were like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, are you okay? Like, do you need anything? Which is so nice to hear, because I'm pretty self-sufficient. Even my mother will tell you I'm self-sufficient in things. And at first I was pretty chill with the whole thing. I'm binge watching, I'm, just kind of relaxing. But then this energy kind of came in. I felt this energy kind of come in of one of isolation. And when I looked at the broader sense, part of the energy that we were all experiencing, it just even out in the world, was this energy of isolation, an energy of feeling like we were all separate. And I found that really fascinating, because at first I thought it was just me. And I know Mercury's still in retrograde till the 14th, till next week, but it was as if I became invisible. I'm sending out emails, work emails, and things like that. And these critical things that I was sending out went completely unanswered, as if they were never received. And in some cases, they weren't received, but I'm not so sure, because I just felt like I had one foot in two different worlds again. And I've had that experience. So is anyone else experiencing, I'm going to call it the invisible effect. I remember having that growing up, that I always felt invisible, that I was like on a different plane or a different dimension than others. And this goes back as far as I can remember, fourth and fifth grade. Not like I told my mom, so she doesn't know anything about me feeling that way, but I always felt invisible, and that other people were more real. Yeah. So that's kind of what I've been experiencing. And then, kind of to validate that, yesterday I was speaking with a colleague, and we got to talking about this divide and conquer energy that comes in to isolate us. So anytime we're in a space where we feel like we can't communicate with other people, or we're not communicating, or we feel like we're invisible, we have been isolated, and it's actually an energy that is isolating us. There's a divide and conquer energy in play. So it's really something to be aware of. It's not something we need to get distracted with or become a victim to the energy. We just have to notice it. We don't need to fight it or get frustrated, because if we do that, energy wins. So if you're feeling isolated, just be aware that there might be an energy that's kind of around you doing that. And you don't have to feel sorry for yourself, or, oh, nobody loves me, everybody hates me, I'm going to go out back and eat worms. There's an energy in play, and we need to start refocusing and reframing that narrative on communication. So we want to turn our attention to clearing out our communication spaces. So it's interesting. And Angela, I promise I will get to you in one second, but Richard was saying feeling more like an observer than a participant in what was happening. I swear to God, that's what it felt like. It felt like I was like watching, but not even observing. It felt like watching a movie where if I were to, do you remember, what was that movie? He said, I see dead people. Oh my God. I can't remember the name of the movie. The Sixth Sense. It might have been The Sixth Sense. And he kept saying, I see dead people. And he was trying to communicate and nobody could hear him. And it kind of it felt like that to me. So we've got a definite thing. Janet's feeling unsettled over the last several days. It's a weird energy. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Just bring it on back. We'll bring it back in the meditation today because it's super important that we not get stuck in that mud, stuck in the mire, stuck in the swamp, whatever you want to call it. But it's very, very swampy out there. And the more, even this show, even doing this, this is important because we are getting into communication. And the last thing that these controls or these powers or these anything that wants to divide and conquer, the danger is when we all communicate. When we are in communication, and it doesn't matter, we don't have to even do anything. When we're in communication, they can't kind of spread the fear, spread the divide and conquer, spread the isolation energy because we can't be isolated, right? And really, we're all in communication with God, with the God of our heart at all times. So technically, we're not isolated anyway. We're not isolated as spirit. So that's an important thing that I noticed throughout the week. Back to Angela's question, because this is a really good one, and keep the questions coming. I just want to go back to this because it's a good one. What causes sleep paralysis? Times when it feels someone in my bed. When I wake up, I see people, then it disappears. It is unsettling. And I actually have a couple of girlfriends who do this work that experience that same thing. I would have to do a reading, Angela, to kind of come up with exactly what's happening for you. But just recognize that you're experiencing and seeing and connected with spirit. And it's got something to do with the astral. I've never really looked too much. I always see that it's like a being of some sort, a spirit that is coming in there. And when you wake up, it disappears. And so what's happening also, Angela, is you're quite aware of what's going on in your dream, in your astral. And one of the tricks I use for me, and I've done this, I taught myself, I don't know, Mom, I think I've talked to you about teaching myself to dream walk when I was 16, where I actually walk through my dreams to see what's going on. So, Angela, you can look and see, is it real? Is it a dream? Is it live? Is it Memorex? What is it? But I bet it's quite unsettling. And what I would recommend is that when you have that experience, grab a little journal, grab a little notebook, and actually write down your experience, what was happening, like whatever you remember about that dream. Mostly, even when I do the astral dream walking, like I have to write stuff down because we'll remember more of the scene. And it might be something that you're working out, some fear or some triggering energy that's there. So it's kind of interesting. But don't let it's not a real physical thing. You're not in danger unless you're in danger, right? But if you wake up and there's nobody there, then you're in a dream space. So it begs to look at, a lot of times I see people using that space for clearing energy. Like we all process things in our dreams. especially our fears. So that might be. So it'll be interesting to see if you can get yourself grounded, Angela, right afterwards if you wake up. But just give yourself a breath when you wake up, put your hand on your heart, just say hello to it beating and all of that. And just come back to yourself. Yeah. So let's see. Richard says, I wonder if some are existing on different dimensional levels, maybe in the fourth, moving up to the fifth. So yeah, it could be any of those. I mean, there are multiple timelines happening right now as we speak. In one timeline, I'm sitting here live with you online, and in another timeline we might be in a room at a psychic fair, or in another timeline we might be in a work setting in the future or in the past. Everything. Did y'all see that movie, Everything? What was it? Everything Something All at Once. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Well, that movie was fascinating because that really introduced us to the concept that everything is happening everywhere all at once. There's really no divide and all of these different spaces. And so, yeah, maybe it's that there's certain different beings on dimensional levels, and maybe in the fourth, and it's like at a vibrational frequency. So, of course, there's going to be different feelings and densities to those different vibrations. So, great observation, and it's definitely something to look at energetically. And of course, now that I'm looking, even from you all bringing that up, that's the beauty of being a curious clairvoyant. I call myself a curious clairvoyant, is that I get to look at these things as they're brought up, no matter who brings them up. There's no limit to what we can look at and observe and bring forth the information. And Angela, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure. Nobody wants to be have a night terror thinking somebody just climbed in bed with them. I can't even imagine. I mean, I've had some real. I remember there was a time, and I don't remember what was going on in my life. I don't think that there was anything in particular going on. And I opened my eyes and I saw my dad sitting at the edge of my bed. Like, I felt somebody sit down. I thought it was Venus. I thought it was my cat. And I opened my eyes to go pet her, and my dad was sitting at the edge of my bed. And so I asked him, hey, what are you doing here? Now, I apologize that I don't remember what he wanted to discuss with me, but whatever it was that he wanted to discuss, I think it had something at the time to do with his brother and sister. And oddly, I believe they transitioned within a few years after that. So it might have been something along those lines. But yeah, we work out things in our dreams all the time. And thank you for being so patient as I drink my tea. By the way, I'm drinking. What are you all drinking? I'm drinking. This is this gourmet tea. It's like a sour cherry, caffeine-free wonderfulness. Because we went right from a gazillion degrees here to, I think it's 60 something today. So I've got the windows open. It's wonderful to breathe in here, but it's definitely tea and cuddle with the cats weather. So, so juicy stuff already. We've got lots of things that were happening. Boy, for somebody who was down and out, it's interesting how it kind of grew and into what I started looking at for the week, because it's really a good one. But I think we're winding down. We're going into the fall. It's already pumpkin spice season in some worlds. And by the way, I love pumpkin spice, so I will fight you on pumpkin spice. I love pumpkin spice. Uh, Janet's asking, does it mean anything, the fact that I never remember my dreaming? It's very rare. Um, no. And so Janet, I'm going to ask you a question though. Do you dream um, in black and white, or do you dream in color? I'm just curious. And that's for anybody out there. Mom, you can pipe up and, kind of uh, pipe up in there. I dream in color, um, Technicolor, everything. So Janet, you're in color. Okay. Some people, and if so, I have heard that most people dream in black and white. But I think that it doesn't mean anything in particular that you don't remember your dreams, but you can actually teach yourself how to remember your dreams, but it takes a little while to do so. Like you can, right before you go to sleep, if you set your intent to just start to remember, mom's in color. That's what I figured. I would figure my mom would be in color. So yeah, you have to sometimes teach yourself. Hello, Gail. Yes, color, but it's muted. Almost looks like a cloudy day. Okay, that can be too. Richard's in color. Yeah, there's no right or wrong to this. There's no good or bad to any of this. It's a curious thing that actually a lot of people dream in black and white. And I think that when we start to see, do we have clarity? Does it look, because Gail said it looks a little bit cloudy. Sometimes we remember, sometimes not. And you're almost never aware that you're dreaming. Well, and I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing a little bit because who's to say that this thing that we're in right now is a dream? What if we're sleeping right now? Like, we don't know. I don't know that we're ever aware per se that we're dreaming. Sometimes, and I can attest to this, sometimes dreams, or that dream space can feel or experience like it's more real than what we're going through in life. Have you ever had something happen in your life where you go, this doesn't feel right? Am I dreaming? What's happening? So really, it's however you dream after you go to sleep, what happens. And really, the more, and Janet, you're in class with me, which is great. And I think what's going to happen is as you find your clarity and as you find your space, and you can all do this as we find our clarity and we find our space, we start to have more clarity on the astral too. Maybe it's that, your astral body has a lot of energy in it. And a lot of the readings I do, I'll clean out the astral body and the mental body and the emotional body so that we can actually have those for ourselves and experience what we want to be aware of. And one of the reasons that I taught myself to dream walk is I was very curious because I know that we process in our dreams. And when I was about 16, I read some book about it, about dream walking, and I was like, oh, I don't know. And so I don't remember by who, where it was. This was a long time ago, before this was mainstream. So yeah, Richard, with insomnia, the boundaries between reality and dreams are pretty thin. Well, actually, Richard, that's more correct. Is the boundaries really are pretty thin. There are very few boundaries in this. My mastery teacher calls it a video game. Like, we're all just living this video game. Yeah. And insomnia, the challenge of insomnia is that you don't get to rest your body and just kind of leave and be free. And so there's a connection there that keeps you like awake, and your brain is constantly going. Yeah. So yeah, it's not just the boundaries really are that way, whether with or without insomnia. Janice saying, I really enjoyed the class. Will be interesting to see how things evolve. Yes. Yes. And by the way, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I just started a 6-week class series called Psychic Healing Foundations. And we just had the first class. I will keep registration open for another week, but you will have to contact me directly to get access to it. So if you send an email, I don't even think I have, let's see. Yeah, you can go to my website at spiritlightinsight.com and, find the contact page, or you could just, we can make it really, really easy. I don't have it here. I will put it up though really, really quickly because you guys rock. I want you to have it. Oh, it's actually, you know what? If you're on YouTube, it's actually in the description of my email. And if you're on Facebook, you can send me a private message. Hang on, Spirit Light Insight. I spell it wrong all the time, which is why I have there we go. So let's see. So here is my email address, Debra at spiritlightinsight.com. And I will be happy to sign you up and get you the first week's recording. So that's something you are all welcome to participate in. And again, the more you do this work, the more you meditate and again get in the body and you start working with that energy, not in terms of being psychic and seeing the future and things like that, but actually clearing your energy and embodying your space. Then you begin to feel safe enough to go out and come back on the astral and things like that. Richard, has your insomnia gotten any better since we've been talking? Since you've been coming here? If not, do message me and let's talk about that. Like message me and I think I have your email in there now, but yeah, I'd be curious to know if that insomnia has gone away, because generally when you're working this and you get grounded, it's a safety issue. And again, we can ground right before we go to sleep and make it a safe space for us to work in. But of course, when we're having nightmares and things like that, if we've got other people's energy in our space, that becomes very challenging, and we don't get to rest our bodies. And the more our body doesn't rest, the more our body screams at us and says, I need to rest. And then it's never good. Then sometimes we crash for a time. Comes in waves. Yeah. Was slowly improving. Yep. The more you clear this energy, the different energies, not even, one of the things we want to do is keep this very simple. Most of what I'm teaching you here are very simple practices that are incredibly powerful. But as human beings, we love to make everything so challenging and so complicated all the time that it can't possibly be working if it's easy and it's simple. We need to have a lot of effort in it, which, by the way, is exactly where we're going today. So I'm going to talk about that. I think I love how everybody's kind of in the same kind of arena with asking questions and things like that. So do a little station identification really quick. Before I jump right into that, but I am Debbie Taitel at spiritlightinsight.com, and I am your host today. I welcome you all here. You are welcome to contact me at spiritlightinsight.com. If you want a reading, feel free. I'm going to put this up for just a minute, and this will show up in both the YouTube and Facebook. You'll actually get a direct link in the comments. So if you would like to book a session, sign up for a program, get a healing package, which by the way can be focused on things like I have insomnia, or I'm looking for a relationship, anything like that, please absolutely jump on in. I welcome working with you. My schedule is open, and being that we're online, I don't have to mask, and I can show up smiling until this COVID is over. So thank you all for being here. Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about, and I have wanted to do this show for a while now, and in fact, I even have like a short little minute and a half that I'm going to make into a like a YouTube short shortly. But I've been looking at the energy of challenge versus change. And what I'm talking about are not just the challenges that we have. Have you ever heard about oh, take this? I remember Deepak Chopra did a 30-day meditation challenge, and then there was for what was it, ALS? We had an ice bucket challenge, and some other, there's gratitude challenges. Even I've given these challenges. Has anybody ever seen these? You know what I'm talking about? These challenges where somebody says, do this thing for 30 days, join us, we'll put you in a private group, we'll do all these things. But I'm challenging you, come take the challenge. And then how many challenges have you taken? I know I did the ice bucket challenge. I did do the Deepak Chopra Oprah, meditation challenge, and then I gave up for whatever reason, the ice bucket challenge. It seems that spiritual leaders, especially, are also way on board with new spiritual challenges all the time. Take this challenge. Now, here's an interesting thing. And has anybody ever taken like a meditation challenge or done a gratitude challenge or anything like that? Drop it in the comments here from wherever you are. I'd love to hear from you. But spiritual challenges are they are oxymorons, because there's no challenge in spirit. Sounds like, oh, that's great, Richard. It is like a fad diet in so many ways. That's great. Thank you so much for that. I needed that. That was so good. It got serious for just a minute there, and then you came up with that. So our bodies are challenged. Our bodies are in effort. I've created challenges in the past for my clients. I know that about 5 years back, I did a 30-day gratitude challenge. But for the last couple of years, I started looking at the energy, like the actual energy of challenge, like creating these 30-day challenges. And it's really interesting because the moment we say challenge, we're saying, see, this is so great. And this is probably why, Janet, you've never wanted to do it, is because it's steeped in I dare you. I dare you to take this challenge. I dare you to prove it. I dare you. There's just so much effort and challenge to it. Trying, it makes it sound like we're taking or accepting this challenge like a duel or like we're squaring off. I mean, that's what they used to say with the duel. I challenge you to a duel. I challenge you to a gunfight. I challenge you, to these different things. And so even putting out there all these challenges, and God bless all these people, that it's great. Like if they want to do it, that's their thing. And if you want to take it, I'm not saying it's bad or wrong, but when somebody says challenge to you, before we ever start that challenge, it says it's going to be hard and we have to push through. Well, why would we have to push through 30 days of meditation? Right? And exactly, Janet, we always get afraid we're not going to be able to finish that challenge. We're in a space of proving and taking, right? It's take the challenge. It's not a giving something to ourselves space. And so keep in mind, I've been looking at this for a couple of years. This isn't just some kind of fly-by-night thought that I had. But as I looked at the energy, it's almost what is the word? Antithesis of spirit. It's the opposite of spirit. In spirit, there's no effort. There's no challenge. Spirit just is. Meditation and the way everything I'm teaching you during this or during any of the classes, there's no effort. It just is. And so this is not to say that we don't want to create change and new ways of moving through the world. We want to learn. We want to give ourselves access to new, different things. And it's not bad or wrong to take on a challenge. So but I'm suggesting that instead of kind of just jumping in, that you actually look at the energy of what you're jumping into. Lifestyle changes, this is from Richard, always seem to work better than fad diets. Yep. Creating all change is about developing new practices for the mind and body, isn't it? So what if we considered that instead of all these, and I can't even tell you how many spiritual leaders I've seen, and we're talking some super high level people. I'm not going to name drop, but there's some big names out there, and every single one of them I've seen have some kind of challenge. Yeah. But what if we considered that instead of taking a challenge, we decide to give a new practice to ourselves? Doesn't that feel better? I mean, to me, it feels better that I'm going to give myself a new practice, right? And we're not giving ourselves a new perfect. We don't have to make it perfect, but that it's a practice. Oh no, I'm buffering. Where am I buffering? Oh, on Facebook, I'm buffering. Yeah, that doesn't, um, yes, you can do 30 days to mindful awakening, any kind of thing. But isn't it interesting that and thank you for sticking with it, even though it was buffering. Gail, if you feel like popping over to the YouTube, you can go to my Spirit Light Insight on YouTube, or the link is right on that invitation that you're on. If you look all the way at the top, there should be, or click through on it, there should be a link directly to YouTube. I don't think it's buffering on YouTube, but apologies. It's a Facebook thing. But yeah, 30 days to mindful awakening, or whatever we want to do, but it's also a giving practice, which is what's so, in other words, there's nothing wrong with doing something for 30 days. I have my clients do it all the time. And by the way, it's incredibly effective. So I'm sure that you've heard of it takes 21 days to change a habit. Well, here's actually, I find some fun facts about that. So, especially in this world of, isn't it interesting? We have all these mental health issues, and yet people are still putting out their challenges and challenges. I challenge you to this, that, or the other thing, all this effort. But the fun fact is, and this is according to Kiana Shelton with MindPath Health, she says that automatic responses happen when we do a particular thing consistently, whether it's good or bad. Now, that's a fun fact. Our brain doesn't distinguish between good and bad habits. Did you know that? It's us who judge what's happening as a good or bad habit. So part of the reason that it takes so long to actually create a new habit for ourselves is because our brain doesn't want to unlearn, like we have no judgment about that. And it can actually take 30 to 60 days to actually break a habit. They're saying break a habit. I don't like that word either, but to change and transform and reframe that habit. So that's why consistency is key to trying to reach whatever transformation you want, right? So isn't it true that most of the so-called challenges we take, or even if for some reason it sounds like it left a bad taste in a couple of mouths here that didn't even want to take a challenge, even if you wanted to jump in, even if you maybe thought, oh, that's something I'd like to try, but now 30 days, I don't want to do that. That's why people give up, by the way, is exactly what Janet said, is that if we miss a day, we're afraid of failure and that we haven't accomplished something, right? So I think there's so many ways that we can create change and transformation and give ourselves a new mindset and therefore create a new and different experience. So what if we made everything into a practice for ourselves? Like maybe Richard, before he goes to sleep, has to just sit down for 5 minutes, and maybe you need to set an alarm on your phone or tie a little string around your finger or something, put it in your to-do list to get dinged in the morning or something, do a meditation when you get up in the morning. So as I said, several years back, I want to say like 4 or 5 years, I offered a 30-day online gratitude challenge. And what was amazing is I think we had like 30 some people in the beginning. And then by the end, I think there were 2 or 3 that were actually actively posting, right? People ask me, and what also dinged me to do this is that in class the other night, someone asked me about my process. How do I do a reading? How do I get through, all these things? And you know what? I did not wake up one day. Yes, I've always been psychic. Yes, we are all psychic at some level and use various abilities. I could go on and on about that. But it is because I commit to practice. Yeah. So this year, I'm toying with a 30-day gratitude practice for the month of November. What if we had space to practice gratitude and cultivate gratitude and kindness every single day? Who would be interested in joining the practice? And again, it's a practice. It's not a perfect. So it's like if you miss a day, like forgive yourself. You missed a day. You could be down for the count, but then you get right back up. When we give ourselves space to practice, there's no pressure to have it perfect. So I don't know if anybody'd be willing to, jump on board with that. But isn't it fun? I think it sounds really fun. And by the way, I make it super easy. It's not even about meditation. You just get to journal words. Like, I haven't put it together yet, but it's probably 5 words of gratitude every day, something like that. I will tell you that doing that for myself when I was at a lowest of lows once upon a time, I knew for whatever reason that was the answer. And I have to tell you what ended up, oh my God, it changed my life. So when we do these practices, it gives us space to create new and lasting habits, changes our mindset, transforms our thinking even. It transforms our whole experience because we change our focus from ruminating, from worry, from um, even from a space of a lot of people live from a space of fear, and even all that will change. So um, yeah, everybody can do it because there's absolutely no pressure to oh my God, you have to take this challenge, and oh no, you failed. We are in such a interesting world these days. We're so used to challenges, and we're gonna, when we do the meditation, I've got some wonderful ways to let go, because what also this challenge versus change, um, it's hard to change things through resistance and through prove it and through any of that. And if we think it's uncomfortable, we're not going to do it. Right? So imagine if our realities, and this is from Richard, can be changed by what we focus on. Guess what? They can. And I can tell you that with 100% certainty. There is no mistake that I don't even know how many spiritual leaders talk about energy flows where your attention goes. I do these on Facebook. I do self-reflection Sunday pieces. Again, I apologize. I dropped the ball, but I've got COVID. I get a pass. Yay, I get a pass. But I do self-reflection Sunday posts. So that you all have something to shift your focus, to shift your mind, to shift your mindset. Because change your mind, change your life, change all of it. It's very, very powerful, and it's not all woo woo. Everybody wants people want you to read the future and predict what's going on. All that's great. But what I think we all need to realize is that all creating begins from now. We can't create something in the future. But when we create space for now and having more, and where is our focus, that's when everything expands. So very interesting how we can change our realities, change our sleep habits, transform our experience. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents on all those effort-filled, I double dog dare you to take this challenges. I think it's why people give up or think they can't or don't start in the first place, when it's the very people who really at some level want that. Because if it's framed differently, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So it's interesting because even with some of those challenges, when we finish, there's a sense of, yay, I did it. Now I can stop. Woohoo! Right? We're done. Changed my life. We're done. I don't know one goat, greatest of all time in this world, that didn't do daily practice of mind, body, and spirit. My nephew reminded me about practice. He plays the tuba. And he said he has to practice his craft every day. I can tell you that from the moment he said that, and even I at the time was like, ugh, I don't feel like meditating. And yeah, I mean, I love reading and everything, but everything became effort. And the minute he said to me, I practice my craft daily, there was like alarm bells in my head. I was like, oh my God, that's so right. And so I started practicing my craft, my reading, my teaching, my meditation daily, feeding my curiosity, my clairvoyant, my curious clairvoyant part inside me by looking at things like the energy of challenges. Yeah. Richard said, if we're not allowed to fail, then we can never learn. You're going to love this. So I once had, because I sell real estate too, there was a very famous sales trainer. Um, his name, and I'm probably going to butcher the quote because I haven't heard it in a really long time, but his name was Tom Hopkins. And one of the things we should be doing, and I am saying should, is to knock that failure word completely out of our vocabulary. Just take it right now and like it was on Tinder, swipe left. I think that's what you're supposed to do there. Swipe that word left. But what the sales trainer said was, I never see failure as failure. I see failure as an opportunity to learn. So as we're reframing challenge, we're going to also reframe failure, because what if it's actually not a failure? And what if it leads us to something else? What if it's not even a failure and something we need to learn, but a different path that we need to take? That our higher self is directing us to go. But yeah, nothing is ever peaches and cream, and things aren't going to go the way we expected them to. But is that a failure? I don't know. So put that in your clairvoyant mind and look at that for yourself, because that is something that we have all learned, that it's something that has been kind of talked about by certain teachers and things like that, that if we're not allowed to fail, that we can never learn. But what if we just didn't consider it failure in the first place? That's kind of what I'm saying. Yes. I love that. Oh my gosh. I love that. Fail equals first attempt in learning. That is I'm going to put that on a sticky note on my computer so that when I am getting really frustrated because can't work technology. I love that. We're going to, so for everybody out there, write this down. Fail equals first attempt in learning. And actually, I'm even going to put it in here in the chat. Fail, it should show up on Facebook, equals first attempt. I love this. I've never heard that one before. All I know is the fear one, where fear is false evidence appearing real, which is always so that, but I haven't heard this, but I love this one. So yeah, I never see failure as failure, but as an opportunity to learn. It is my first attempt at learning. And then you get to laugh at yourself and recognize that you fell down. Now you get to get up. So whatever change and transformation you'd like to have, Just develop or think about it as a 30-day practice that starts over in 30 days. So even if for some reason you made 25 first attempts at learning, that you can start over in 30 days, because it's a constant practice your craft, practice your transformation. Even meditation is a meditation practice. It's not a meditation perfect. So, yeah, if you want to take challenges, go ahead. But I say make it a practice and make it fun and different. And if you want a little nudge, so here we are. Here we are. Here's my pitch. If you want a little nudge, hit me up, send me an email, and I will create a challenge for you depending on whatever you're focused on. I will create a just a little practice for you, a 30-day practice, and I welcome you to try it. So don't hesitate to hit me up at, well, wait, did I? Oh, I did. I put it in there. I forgot. So if you're on YouTube, you can look below, and my email address is actually in the link below. Or if you're on Facebook, you can send me a message. You can directly email me at Debra@spiritlightinsight.com. And this is also the time that I say, hello, hello. Are you enjoying yourselves out there in Cyberland? If you like what we're doing here and you're on YouTube, please do subscribe, like, and share with your friends. That's always greatly appreciated. So that's happening right there. And we're about to get into the meditation. So I'm going to also do my little pitch. You can support this stream for now with a virtual tip. That link will show up in on both YouTube and in the comments. So it's actually a direct link there, or you can use the QR code that you're seeing up there, or there's one right up here. And this is just a virtual tip jar. Whether you give or whether you don't, I'm going to be here anyway. But of course, all of your support's always appreciated, greatly appreciated. And let us move on to our closing meditation. And I'm going to turn this off so it's not so distracting. It's so fun to do these things. I am multitasking. One day I will actually I'll take a snapshot of all the things I have going on the screen, because it's amazing. But thank you all for being here. People are coming and going, and don't leave now, because we're about to jump into our closing meditation and kind of the end piece, letting go of effort, because bodies are filled with challenges, challenged daily. Bodies are full of effort. So this week's meditation reset for the weekend is going to be easy peasy, and I think very fun. So give yourselves a breath, and if you are laying back and you can sit up, you can put something behind your back, but just go ahead and sit upright with your feet on the floor and give yourself a breath. And then gently close your eyes and begin to tune in. Turn your attention within. You can focus on your breath and the rise and fall of your chest. Feel the weight of your body seated in the chair. Feel your feet on the ground, solid. With every breath, feel yourself settling in, filling your body with oxygen and energy. life-giving. Imagine that you're watching the dance as your inner body works, just work. You don't have to focus on your blood flow. It just flows through you. Notice how you're feeling, and if you're uncomfortable in any way, just go ahead and breathe into that space. And imagine that you're centered in your awareness, behind your eyes, in the center of your head, in a space that's just for you, a spiritual sanctuary, a place where you're in charge. Imagine it as your favorite room, or it can be even a place. I like to experience being in a mountain clearing surrounded by majestic mountains. You might want to be in a forest, or even just create your own space, your own room. Give yourselves a breath and look around that space and see if there's anybody else in there with you, or if it's calm and peaceful. And if you notice anybody in there, or you've got a room and it looks just like there was a party in there, go ahead and, just like Mary Poppins, with a snap of your fingers, put everything in its place, and that there's a place for everything in your mind's eye. No effort. Say hello to the base of your spine at the tip of your tailbone, that location of your first chakra, that energy center. It's all about your safety and security and your identity. And create a connection from the base of your spine to the center of the planet. You can imagine that connection as a big, beautiful, majestic oak tree that's grounded into the center of the earth. If you know how to run energy, go ahead and do that. I see you on here, so thank you for being here. But imagine being connected with life and the consciousness and spaciousness that is the center of the earth. And this is beyond the earthquake zone or anything you learned in school. It's a beautiful center of the earth with a river of beautiful energy flowing through it. And in your mind's eye, imagine that connection between your spine and the center of the earth conducts energy and allows you to release what no longer serves, to release any energies that you're working with. And we've got a theme of challenge and effort, so we're going to let go of those. But for now, go ahead and just give yourself space to be. Give yourselves a breath, and as you release, begin to see a flow of energy moving down that grounding connection, effortlessly flowing, carrying with it anything that you would like to release. And don't worry about Mother Earth. She knows what to do with that energy. This is a beautiful space of recycling energy as you release other people's energy from your space, other people's pictures or programming from your space, and then it gets recycled and goes back to wherever it came from, because you can't use anyone else's energy and they can't use your energy. It doesn't work that way. Give yourselves a breath and be in the center of your head. And imagine that there's a beautiful golden light that's in the center of your head and that it's expanding. Go ahead and reflect on your week. Just notice, were there any challenges that you came across? Were you in any effort this week? And just breathe and release. Notice if you've become responsible for anyone else's energy or pain or problems. And you can just begin to let those go down your grounding cord as well. This is the best self-care you could possibly give yourself. Now give yourselves a breath and just begin to notice anywhere that you might have gone into effort this week. Maybe something became hard or challenging. Maybe you've been trying to meditate or push energy away, or people, or anything like that, but any kind of effort that you might be experiencing. Could be yours or someone else's. But just set your intentions on letting go of any effort that you've experienced. There's no effort in spirit. Spirit just is. Breathe and release. As we reset our energy, let go of the week, maybe even the month or last month or something you're just wrapping up. We are so used to effort. How many of you were told, and you don't have to answer this, stay in meditation, but there's a lot of programming. If we work really hard, we'll get somewhere or we'll get something. What's our payoff for being in effort? If we work hard, if we study hard, or what have you been told about effort? Work hard and you'll make money? Or you'll receive some kind of accolades or some kind of reward? Just breathe and release any kind of effort that you've been in. And go ahead and release out any resistance as well. Maybe there's something that you've been resisting. But this is a great time to reset your space so that you can be at ease for the weekend. So just see that flow of energy going down your grounding cord. Breathe and release. And then say hello to your physical body again. And imagine a beautiful golden ball of light at the top of your head, a golden sun. And why don't you go ahead and call back all your energy that maybe you gave away this week so that you can have it to create with. And notice what happens with that gold sun, that it gets brighter as you call your energy into it. We're back to work, back to school, back to everything after the summer break, or you might be coming back from winter break, depending on where you are. But also call back into that gold sun any qualities of energy you want to experience in the next week. Do you want to have some fun? In fact, I'd like you to put some fun into that. Just sprinkle that into that gold sun, and sprinkle some laughter into that gold sun. Sprinkle some smiles into that gold sun. Just imagine that gold sun above your head. You can even tip your head back and look up at it, having it warm your cheeks. But anytime we release energy, we need to refill with this golden light of life. And this life is filled with spaciousness, and it's filled with enthusiasm, and it's filled with fun, your concept of fun, because everybody else's is going to be different. Your concept of what's fun and funny and filled with laughter and joy. And then imagine that that golden sun is coming right in through the top of your head, filling up your entire head and beginning flowing through you, flowing through your torso and your arms and your hands and your belly, filling up. Notice you're becoming less heavy in the chair as you fill up with this golden light that begins to expand into all the organs and cells in your body. Have that golden light fill up your skin, so much so it begins shooting out of your pores and expanding into your energy field until you're sitting in a bubble of golden light, centered in your awareness. Pause in that moment and give yourself a deep breath, and slowly exhale as you put a great big smile on your face. And congratulate yourself and thank yourself for making it through. And then when you're ready, just really have an awareness about your body. Before you open your eyes, go ahead and wiggle your fingers and toes and just really be aware of your physical body. Say hello to yourself as the spirit that you are. And when you're ready, go ahead and gently open your eyes, return to yourself, and take a big stretch. And yawn, bend over, dump out, shake out your neck and shoulders. And welcome back. That was great, everyone. You all did great. I hope you had a nice experience in that, releasing the effort and the challenges of the week. I kept thinking as I was doing this, that song, Everybody's Working for the Weekend, and that how nice it is to be able to just reset our energy on these Fridays, even if we're Saturday, uh, even if we're Angela on the other side of the world and it's actually Saturday morning. But whatever you noticed and whatever your experience, the beauty of doing what we're doing here is that there is no right or wrong. It's just your experience. It's your vision. It's what you create in the world and what you want to create. What is your experience? So, um, yeah, if anybody wants to share anything, feel free to drop that in the comments. Um, Tom, welcome back. You watched last week's show a few days later. Thanks. You are so welcome. It's so, everybody does these prediction shows, and I thought, you know what? Nobody does anything to actually get your energy back and reset your energy. Well, Tom, I hope you had an amazing vacation wherever you went. Tell me about where you went. Oh my God, I want to know. But thank you so much. And I'm glad that you watched it. By the way, for anybody who has watched my Blue Moon meditation, oh my gosh, thank you so much. We're now almost at 800 views. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But thank you for watching, whether it's, that you can make the live or you get a chance to watch later. So for those of you watching later, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are just as appreciated as the folks that come on the live. I know some of you work and all of that. Richard says, great meditation, timely reminder to relax in the flow of life instead of adding resistance to it. Absolutely. And I mean, we do that a lot, and it's, again, this is a practice, not a perfect. So it's so nice to be able to gather together and partake of this energy and share in this energy that we share together on Fridays. So, oh, beautiful. Um, Denver, that's so great. I have been, oh my gosh, just so wanting to go hiking in the mountains. And after this COVID is over, I'm going to consider doing just that, just picking up and going somewhere. Because I'm in Chicago, right? So I have Wisconsin. So I just have the Kettles and the Moraines, but those are fun to hike too. So Janet says, enjoy your meditations, just learning meditation. Yeah, it's great no matter when we start. It doesn't even matter. It just it's an amazing thing, and I love watching people experience all of this for the first time. So it's really great to be able to be here and do this regardless. But I'm glad that you got out of town, Tom, and congratulations, Pikes Peak, nice, really nice. Went to the summit. That's awesome. So goodness, well. Wow, 90 minutes. I haven't been looking at so much for what's this one's just going to be really short. It's a dreary day here, we'll just do this. But I hope you enjoy what we're creating here. I appreciate all of your support. Of course, as I said, readings, healings, multi-session healing packages are always available. You can find all the information on my website at spiritlightinsight.com. Wherever you are watching and doing this, do hit that like button, subscribe on YouTube, share with your friends. Bring the more the merrier. We will take everybody that we can get. Contact me if you want that. If you would like a 30-day practice, I am happy to create one just for you. It'll be very easy. But before I go, oh my gosh, and I hope you're all still here because this is incredible. So save the date right now. Save the date, September 22nd. I reached out to someone I've been Facebook friends with for a while, but she is a world renowned medium. Her name is Jay Lane. She's one of the most incredible mediums that I've ever seen. She's toured around the world. She fills venues. Um, we go back. I think we decided when we were talking yesterday, like we go back to Facebook on like 2009 or something like that. She has agreed to be the featured guest here. So there's going to be some medium readings. I don't know who's going to show up. I don't know how she does her process, but we're going to get to find out about that. She does a whole thing on grief and living and dying and things like that. She's one incredible woman, and I'm so excited. I'm actually like fangirl geeking out. I'm so excited she's going to be joining us. So save the date for the 22nd. I'll still be here next week uh, for you. Yes, I will. I will still be here, and we're going to do the. I guess we're going to do the Rosh Hashanah edition of the TGIF. But anyway, for all of you, thanks so much. And I'm actually putting that up to see if anybody left a comment. Thank you all so much for being here. It's such a joy to have you here. It's such an honor to have these conversations, and I can't even tell you how much I appreciate it. Every single week, it just brightens my soul and gives me something to look forward to every single week. So I'm glad that you are liking it, and you're so welcome for me putting, I'm so glad that you're here, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. So for everyone, thank you for being here. Have a wonderful weekend. I hope you've shifted your mindset. Have a great weekend and a great new week. And always remember to keep your spirit light in sight and shine your light for all to see. Have a great weekend and great week, everybody. Bye for now.